the fact that they did their work and they proceeded rationally from the data at hand, and you know we're cited more often than we are cited. The Cato Institute is cited in policy debates, whether in Congress or in the media. We are cited more often than any other think tank that's in its right mind. There's Brookings, but never mind. Well, anyway, so thank you, Ed. It's been amazing. Now, I just love being in New York. I love New York City, the capital of the free world. I mean, Statue of Liberty, huddled masses, lift the lamp beside the golden door, freedom. It's what New York is just all about. Now, I was just out in the lobby drinking a 32-ounce Big Bowl and smoking a cigar and sprinkling salt on an extra large triple cheese meatloaf pizza. What is that yappy miniature schnauzer mare of yours going to ban next? I mean, why not just ban everything that's bad for people? You know, like watching Bloomberg Business Channel. That was pretty bad for me. I got right in on the Facebook IPO. Or is it just our physical health that the mayor is worried about? In that case, he better ban voting for Democrats, because otherwise Obamacare is going to kick in, and health care will cost nothing, and when something costs nothing, it's worth it. So to hell with you, Mayor Bloomberg, and to hell with politics. People think Cato is a political think tank. It's not. It's an anti-political think tank. We're not here today to fix politics. I take that back. We are here to fix politics. The way you fix a cat, the way you spay a dog, the way you castrate a dangerous bull. We mean to tame these political sons of bitches. We are going to teach them not to beg at the table. We're going to teach them not to bark at the moon. We're going to teach them to quit licking each other's, you know. We're going to teach them to heal. We're going to teach them to come when they are called. We're going to teach them domestic policy. Stay off the furniture. No politics in my bed, okay? We're going to teach them foreign policy. Stop making messes in other people's yards, you know? We're going to teach them to roll over and play dead, because we're going to teach them term limits, you know? When we toss our political power to a politician, that politician, he's going to bring our political power right back here and drop it at our feet. Good boy. Now back to John. It isn't going to be easy to housebreak this political mess. You know, I mean, in the White House, both houses of Congress, the floor is going to have to be covered with a lot of newspaper, okay? But not the editorial section of the New York Times. We do not want our political puppies reading that stuff, okay? Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to win this fight. It won't be simple, it won't be quick, and we're going to lose a lot of battles along the way. We're going to lose the battle a week from Tuesday. I mean, no matter who wins, we're going to lose it, because, you know, judging by past performance, Romney's just this guy who's going to do everything that Obama did, but with a more expensive haircut, you know. And Romney's not going to win anyway. Romney's not going to win. Romney's going to lose because Obama is running on a platform of a gigantic government giving stuff away for free, you know? And Romney doesn't even have the wit to stand up and say that the stuff Obama's giving you is stolen. And not only that, it's stolen from you. You know, I mean, Obama, he sneaked in your back door and swiped your laptop. Came around to the front and rang the bell and is standing there going, look, free computer equipment for all classrooms and children, you know? Romney at least has some idea of why the free market is a good thing. But Romney doesn't have the sense to say, my opponent here, dumb as a box of rocks about economics. I know Obama was taking poli-sci for poets, reading Saul Alinsky for extra credit, when he should have been taking Econ 101, you know? He doesn't know where money comes from. He thinks the government prints it. And he's got a chairman of the Federal Reserve who thinks the same thing, you know? President Obama doesn't know where money comes from. He doesn't know. He just doesn't know that money comes from your knowledge, your skills, your risk of your capital, and your hard work. He doesn't know that. Or maybe he just forgot. You know, maybe he just kind of know it, he just forgot. And the voters, you know, the voters, when they're in the privacy of the voting booth, they like to forget where money comes from too, you know. They like to stand in there and go, ooh, maybe if I pull the donkey lever, the government will print some more money for me, you know. But then voters go back to work, where their paychecks are being taxed to hell, where their jobs and their business opportunities are being regulated away, where their hopes for the future are being tied to the millstone of the federal deficit. Then they remember that government is all taking, no making, you know? And that's why we will win this fight. People do know that politicians are thieves. People do know that politicians are liars. We'll win this fight, but only if we keep fighting. We have to lead the charge on this. We have to remind people how politicians are thieves and when politicians are liars. And we have to pass the ammunition so people can take aim at the theft and the lies. Our duty is to help our fellow citizens know in their minds what they already know in their guts. You know? Now, for example, everybody knows that government costs too much. Everybody knows, but thanks to us, thanks to two of our patron saints, Milton and Rose Friedman, we're able to explain why government costs too much. I mean, more than 30 years ago, in their book, Free to Choose, the Friedmans used this very simple graph, simple little box graph, to show that mathematically, there are only 4 ways that money can be spent. It's your money spent on yourself, your money spent on other people, other people's money spent on you, and other people's money spent on other people. There are just 4 ways to spend money. Now, way number 1, your money spent on yourself. Now let's take cars as an example of something to spend on, and me as an example of somebody doing the spending, okay? 22 years ago, I bought a Porsche 911. Still have it, wonderful car. And I got a great deal on it. I got it almost new from this dentist who scared himself and bought a Lexus Coupe instead. You know? When you spend your money on yourself, you get, as nearly as you can, exactly what you want, and you bargain hard to get it. Now, way number 2, your money spent on other people. Now, you still bargain hard, but you're not quite as concerned about getting exactly what's wanted. Although I'm sure my wife is very fond of the Geo Tracker that I got for her and the kids. Way number 3, spending other people's money on yourself, and I'm on the fence, you know, between an Aston Martin DBS Coupe that goes for $300,000 and a Maserati Gran Turismo convertible, which is a steal at $145,000. And in way number 4, you're not involved at all. You're spending other people's money on other people. It's not your dime. There's nothing in it for you. It might as well be billions for Jack, or as the government called it, cash for clunkers. And way number 4 is the way all government spending is done. Everybody knows government costs too much. And everybody knows government shouldn't be given too much power. But people forget why. Government should not be given too much power because of what Ed just mentioned. Government has a special kind of power, kind of a comic book superhero power, or maybe I should say a comic book supervillain power. So the political system has a monopoly on the use of deadly force. And that deadly force, that can be brought to bear upon you for any violation of even the most trivial, most picayune government regulation. You fall afoul of recycling rules, and you'll get a citation from the sanitation department. You don't pay the fine, you'll be sent to jail. You escape from jail, they'll shoot you. You could be executed for failing to separate the green plastic from the clear plastic in your trash. Now, do you think we should give more power to politicians who would do a thing like that? No, I don't. Now, one of the core principles of libertarianism is that the world is not zero-sum. The world is not zero-sum. We can make more things. We can make more money. We can make more food. We can make more energy. We can make more babies. You know? The way I get things is by making them, not by President Obama taking them from you to give to me. But politics is zero-sum. There is a fixed amount of political power because there's a fixed amount of me. And the political power that you hold over me because you're holding me at gunpoint, that's obviously power that I lose to you. I mean, people know they're losing their power to the political system, and they don't like it, you know? But it's a big temptation. It's a big temptation to give more power to that government. American government's a huge tool, mighty in its operation, nearly irresistible in its movement, never mind, it doesn't know where it's going. It is tempting to use a tool like this when something needs fixing. And people don't stop to ask whether the tool suits the task. There is something in the human psyche, and I may say particularly in the male human psyche, that just loves big tools, you know? Possessed of a big tool, a man feels a compulsion to use it, you know? And we don't have to get rude for examples about this. Give a man a high-powered cordless electric drill and you will get holes all over your house. You know, in the 1940s, shortly after that very big tool, the atomic bomb, had been employed on the Japanese, there was a proposal in Congress, serious proposal in Congress, to use atomic bombs to blast a new sea-level canal through the Isthmus of Panama. I mean, great government idea. Men are dangerous when they have big tools. Power of any kind is dangerous, and government power particularly dangerous. Or, to put the case differently, the government is a Rottweiler ready to be unleashed on your problems, and you've stuffed raw meat down the front of your pants. Now, one method of being careful with government power is to think about the messy government the way we think about our messy personal lives, right? You know, there are furious ex-spouses and bitter former lovers and various outstanding child support judgments, and we don't want too much of that in one place, which is why we're moving to Phoenix. Right? America's founding fathers, they knew enough about messy personal lives, Jefferson in particular, to make sure that the Constitution contained federalist decentralization of power and a system where each branch of the government would check and balance the other branches of the government. Because what if all the ex-spouses and the former lovers and the kids whose school fees we're supposed to be paying, what if they all became friends and got the same lawyer, you know? America's founding fathers said would have rather moved to Phoenix than let something like that happen, you know? So it's important for as much of this government power as possible to be distributed to the smallest possible units of government, the states, the cities, the towns, the townships, and the counties. John Sununu, the Big John, the former governor of New Hampshire, he had a good way to explain it. John's kind of a cranky guy, but John's also kind of a truthful guy, and what's more important, he's an engineer. And Sununu compares reliance on local government to a goal of mechanical engineering known as short control loops. See, the hot and cold faucets in your shower, that's a short control loop. If instead of the hot and cold faucets, instead of them being located in the shower stall, what if the hot and cold faucets were down in the basement? That would be a long control loop, right? It's not that a short control loop always works. You may be out of hot water, but it's better to stand there in the shower fiddling with a useless faucet than to march naked and dripping through the house, you know, amazing the children and shocking the cleaning lady, you know, down 2 flights of stairs into a grungy basement and fiddle with a useless faucet down there. You know? So if our neighbor on the local sewer commission, and he votes to raise our sewer rates, we can go next door and yell at him, you know, or stuff a potato up the tailpipe of his car. Now, stuffing a potato up the tailpipe of the limousine of the President of the United States, that's a federal crime, or they'll make it one if I try. Now, despite the common sense of the short control loop argument, we're often deaf to it. When something's wrong, we don't consult the sewer commissioner next door, even if what's wrong is backed up sewage, you know. We go straight to Washington, and bypassing even the House and the Senate, we expect the president himself to take time off from trying to get his limo started and come over to our house with a plunger, you know. The expense of politics, the surrender of individual power to politics, the gross inefficiency of politics, it's all bad. It's all bad. But nothing is as bad as the brain of a politician. Now you go, what brain? You know? Alas, it's worse than a joke. I mean, you know, taken one by one, politicians are of dull normal intelligence, you know. But when you put politicians together in government, you get committees. In Congress, they even come right out and call the committees, you know, and we've all been on committees, right? We know what happens to intelligence and common sense when a person becomes a committee member. It's committee brain, right? Now, you live in a neighborhood with a playground. The kids in the neighborhood would like to play tetherball, but the playground has no tetherball pole. So a committee is formed to raise funds for tetherball. Committee to raise funds for tetherball. CRFT. CRFT is started by a group of pleasant, enthusiastic, public-spirited neighbors. The minute any of these neighbors become a member of CRFT, he or she will begin to express his or her pleasant, enthusiastic public spirit by turning into one of the following characters. The stickler. We have to draw up a charter and form a nonprofit corporation with a chairman, a president, vice president, secretary, treasury, development officer, and human resources executive. And the tetherball pole has to be exactly 4 meters high in accordance with North American Amateur Tetherball Association rules. Right? The dog in the manger. We need to get permission from the county zoning board, the city council, the parks department, and adjacent landowners who may complain about tetherball noise. That part of the playground is too damp for tetherball. It might be federally protected wetlands. We can't do any fundraising without advertising. We can't advertise without raising funds. The kids would rather have a tennis court anyway. The person who is stupid even by committee brain standards. So the rope has like a ball on the end. The worrier. Added pole, breakaway tether, lightweight foam ball, ban on playing after dark or when visibility is poor, and when the sun is shining to avoid UV skin cancer damage. Kids should wear helmets and knee pads and safety belts. The person with ideas. Let's set up a challenge grant to erect a second tetherball pole in the inner city. Midnight tetherball could be an alternative to crime for deprived youth. We can also promote tetherball as a way to combat child obesity, which would make us eligible for funding from the Gates Foundation. We'll have a tetherball league. No, 3 adults, juniors, and tether tots. This could be a great Title IX thing. I mean, if our daughters are varsity level tetherball players, they'll get into Yale. The person with ideas, none of which have anything to do with tetherball. Is the tether biodegradable? Is the pole made from recycled materials? Many playground balls are manufactured in third world countries using exploitative child labor. Let's be sure to utilize organic fertilizer and indigenous plant species when seeding the tetherball play area. The bossy person who says the same thing as everybody else on the committee but louder. The person who won't shut up, who says the same thing as everybody else on the committee, but more often. The person who won't show up unless his or her vote is crucial, in which case he or she shows up and votes the wrong way. And you actually do all the work and call 40 people and ask them to donate $10, and half of them do, and you raise the $200 needed only to find out that you need $200,000 because the House of Representatives Economic and Educational Opportunities Committee, Select Committee on Opportunities in Physical Education Subcommittee on Americans with Disabilities Act compliance requires all tetherballs to be wheelchair accessible no matter how high the tetherballs fly in the air. You know, given the complete dominance of politics by committees and the committee brain, the wonder is that anything gets done, and the horror is that it does. You know? What a government accomplishes is what you'd expect from a committee. A camel is a horse designed by a committee. That's a saying that couldn't be more wrong. A camel is a seeing eye dog designed by a committee and available free with government grants to people who can see perfectly well but who can't walk. Let it be our mission to show people the danger and the folly of letting their lives be run by a committee. And let it be our mission to show people the danger and the folly of all the temptations and all the empty promises of a government so big and powerful that it can give everyone everything for free. You know, politicians, they just work themselves into a lather trying to prove the benefits of that gigantic government. Well, I'll tell you, using political logic, I can prove anything. I can prove anything. I can prove that shooting convenience store clerks stimulates the economy. Jobs are created in the high-paying domestic manufacturing sector at gun and ammunition factories. Additional medical technicians, security guards, healthcare providers, and morticians are hired. The unemployment rate is lowered as job seekers fill new openings on convenience store night shifts. And money stolen from convenience store cash registers stimulates the economy where stimulus is needed most in low-income neighborhoods where the people who shoot convenience store clerks go to buy their crack. I mean, considering all the good it does, I'm simply flabbergasted that everyone in Congress and the administration isn't smoking crack and shooting convenience store clerks this very minute. That's all I know. That's all I know, but if anybody has any questions, I'll make up some other stuff.